Welcome to Stories. I'm Connor Aidan. This is part 2 of The Day the Internet Died. To listen to part 1, click the link in the description. The Day the Internet Died, Part 2. Friday. Sonya woke to the sound of a car horn outside. She was sprawled out on the couch, still in yesterday's scrubs. What time is it? She fumbled around the couch cushions looking for her phone before finding it face down on the floor. Just after 10. Damn, how long did I sleep for? Sonya heard Alex's door creak open and instantly shut her eyes. She knew it was childish, but she did not want to have to answer for what she had said last night just yet. If only she could ink out just a few more minutes of bliss. She heard Alex slowly creep around the couch and then ever so quietly open and close the front door. Moments later, she heard a car backing out of the driveway. Quickly, Sonya rushed to the window just as the car was driving away. That's Katie's car, isn't it? Sonya looked at her phone again. A little late to be going to school. Sonya rubbed her eyes and slumped back into the couch. Lying down flat, she stared up at the ceiling, replaying in her head the events that had happened last night. I went too far last night. I shouldn't have. I know how much Alex has been going through. I don't need to pile even more onto it. Where did she go? With Katie? She's not running away, is she? With renewed focus, Sonya shifted back to her feet. Okay, Sonya, where would Alex go? She walked over towards Alex's room and carefully opened the door, as if she was afraid Alex might still be in there. Looking around, it seemed mostly like Alex's normal room. Sure, recently it was messier than it had been before Sonya left for college, but nothing was obviously awry. On the desk by the computer was a ton of loose papers. Sifting through, she found mostly old school papers. But one was different. Turning it over, she was confronted with the grimace of a large silhouetted man. What the hell is this? Though the face took up most of the page, there were a few sentences appended under it. Take back what is yours. We the people will not stand for this injustice and restriction of basic human rights. Do not believe the telecom lies. Do not believe the government lies. Stand with us and demand answers. On Friday, August 7th, starting at 12 p.m., we will gather in front of the telecom building and demand answers. What the? Sonya pulled out her phone to check the date. Shit, that's today. Sonya sat down on the edge of the bed, still holding the flyer. Surely not. Surely Alex wouldn't fall for something like this. This is obviously some conspiracy theory bullshit. Telecom isn't working with the government to suppress information. They're just... Sonya racked her brain, trying to recall what was the cause of the outage. What did it say in the paper? She walked back into the living room and grabbed the newspaper she had taken home from the hospital yesterday. Okay. State of emergency declared. Outage continues. Amidst mounting government pressure, Telecom continues not to provide an official statement as to what caused the outage. With a frown, Sonya flung the paper and flyer down onto the coffee table and sat back in the couch, the gears in her brain continuing to turn. Okay, so Telecom is silent. Why? Who fucking knows? There must be something they're trying to cover their asses for. And this group is obviously trying to take advantage of the whole situation to stir up unrest. But why? And where does Alex fit into all this? Sonya moved to the bathroom to wash off the previous day's accumulated grime in preparation for what she was about to do. The gears continued to turn. Okay, Sonya, but that's not the only place she could have gone. Honestly, she could have gone anywhere. And it's a state of emergency. What does that even mean? Is her school canceled? Sonya continued to clean up, hopping in and out of the shower as fast as she could. Yes, there's got to be somewhere else. She wouldn't go to this protest thing. She knows better. Katie knows better. But no matter what logical loopholes she tried to jump through, Sonya couldn't shake the feeling that they did go to the protest. After all, she bet that practically the entire town would show up. Just judging from how it had been at the hospital the past week, she could only imagine how badly others had been affected from the outage. Practically everything ran on internet these days. Standing in the doorway, Sonya slapped her cheeks to get the blood flowing. Okay, Sonya, you're going to go to this stupid protest to make sure that your stupid sister isn't there doing something stupid. Because, like it or not, it's your responsibility to make sure she doesn't die. 1 year before the outage. Sonia's phone buzzed as she walked through campus on her way to her next class. Hi, Sonya. It's Aunt Molly, your mom's sister. Please give me a call when you have a moment. I'm afraid it's urgent. Sonya frowned at her phone, but nevertheless continued her brisk pace. Walking beside her was Christopher, also a med student, trying desperately to keep up while also stuffing papers into his bag. What's that face for? He said. Sonya looked up from her phone. Oh, my aunt, who I haven't heard from in years, just texted me. Said it was urgent I call her back. I'm sure it's fine, though. I'll just call her after we finish biochem. Christopher stopped abruptly, forcing Sonya to halt as well. Sonya, if she said it was urgent, you should probably call her back now. I'm sure it will take 2 seconds. Just call her back now and see what she has to say. I'm just gonna... Sonya started before Christopher gave her a stern look. Okay, fine. Sonya sat in the hospital waiting room, trying to remember how long it had been since she last slept. 1 hour to pack, 12-hour drive, stopped twice, 16 hours since I've been in the hospital, 2 hours since we've last spoken to the nurse. She rubbed her swollen eyes. She couldn't tell if they were more red from tiredness or tears. But at this point, it didn't matter. Alex's head rested in her lap, a makeshift pillow, as she lay across the hard hospital bench. Even in her sleep, she still seemed to be crying. In the funeral parlor, Sonya sat at a small bench tucked away in the corner. The service and burial had wrapped up over an hour ago, and Aunt Molly had already shuttled Alex back home. Only a few stragglers remained. Christopher approached her. His flight had landed only a few hours before the service, so they hadn't had much opportunity to talk. Sonya rose, and they embraced. Sonya, he started before trailing off. Sonya, I'm so sorry. Sonya began to start sniffling again, which surprised her because she didn't think she had any tears left. She buried her face in his shoulder as he continued to console her. It's okay. He stroked the back of her head as she began to cry. It's okay. Here, let's sit down for a minute. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sometime later, after Sonya had gotten out what few tears she had left, they continued to sit on the bench, her head leaning on his shoulder for support. Christopher was the first to speak. Do you know what is going to happen with Alex? She's still in school, right? Sonya, still leaning on his shoulder, spoke. She's going to be staying at our aunt's for the next few days. After that, I think I'm going to withdraw from this semester to come back here to stay with her. Sonya, she needs someone right now. With both of them gone, she still has a few years of school left. She can't live by herself, even if she wants to. I'm sure our aunt could take care of her, but we hardly know her. She needs me. Christopher grabbed her hand and gently squeezed it. But who's going to take care of you, Sonya? Maybe I should take some time off as well. Come down here to be... Sonya cut him off. No, Chris. No, you don't need to do that. I don't want you to get behind. I know how hard of a year you have coming up. But Sonya, I need to make sure you're going to be okay. Sonya sat up straight. I'll be fine. I might be able to get an internship or something at the hospital. Or I'll just see if I can take classes online. Or I'll just do something. Chris didn't seem very reassured. I'll be fine, Chris. I promise. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Christopher was quiet for a few moments before finally speaking. Okay. I'll come back down as soon as I can. I'm sure we can figure something out together. Hell, knowing you, you'll probably figure out a solution for this whole thing before I even get back. Sonya shifted her gaze towards the front of the room, where only an hour ago the 2 caskets had laid. Yeah, she said. Friday. Move, buddy, I got somewhere to be. Sonya honked her horn in agitation at the mass of soon-to-be protesters clogging the road, making it impossible to go any further. Just my luck, Sonya mumbled as she attempted to pull off to find a place to park. Opening the car door, Sonya stood on her tiptoes to scan the crowd. Jesus, with this many people here, it'll be impossible to find her. Begrudgingly, Sonya mixed into the crowd and made her way towards the telecom building. Every once in a while, she stood on her tiptoes to see if she could make out anyone in the crowd, but without success. The crowd grew denser and denser the closer she got towards the final destination. Already, she could sense the agitation in the crowd. People were starting to shove to get by one another, and several times she was shouldered by a passerby. This is stupid. This is so stupid. Why am I here? What if she isn't even here? What if I'm the one who gets swallowed by the crowd? With great effort, Sonya extended herself again to scan the crowd, looking for something, anything, that could help. She saw now that she was almost at the telecom building and could make out a dozen or so policemen planted in front of it. Drawing her attention back to the crowd, she scanned again, looking back and forth and back and forth. Finally, her efforts paid off. Is that Katie? She yelled. Katie! As she screamed, Katie turned to talk to the person next to her, confirming to Sonya that it was in fact her. But the crowd was already so loud that she didn't seem to hear. Beside her, she saw what appeared to be the back of Alex's head. Fucking hell, they are here. Sonya attempted to move closer towards them. Katie! Alex! Excuse me, sorry, excuse me. Hey, I need to get by you, please. She heard someone in the front of the crowd shout something at the cops, which in turn riled up everyone else. After that, the pushing and shoving seemed to increase tenfold as everyone in the crowd tried to compact towards the front. Sonya heard what sounded like glass breaking, followed shortly after by another. The crowd erupted even more in response. One of the policemen raised a megaphone. Attention! This has become an unlawful assembly. Disperse now, or you will be forced to disperse. Shit. What have I gotten myself into? At this point, the crowd was so compacted that it was almost impossible for Sonya to make any progress. Sonya tried to extend herself again to scan the crowd, but was swiftly knocked over by a person rushing past her. Barreled over, Sonya clutched her injured side. What the hell is going on? How am I even going to get to them? With great effort, she tried once again to scan the crowd. This time, she saw that Katie was only a few yards in front of her. At the top of her lungs, Sonya yelled, Katie! Finally, Katie turned around and made eye contact with her. Tears were streaming down her face. After taking a moment to realize who it was, Katie yelled something back in response, but Sonya couldn't hear over the crowd. Sonya looked around her and noticed Alex wasn't there. Katie! The crowd jostled Sonya back and forth. Katie! Where's Alex? Katie! From off to the side, a police car erupted into flames. 9 months before the outage. Hey, Alex, do you have a minute? Sonya stood outside Alex's door, still in her work clothes from her new job at the hospital. Alex! From behind the door, she heard a grumble. What do you want? Sonya frowned at the closed door before recomposing herself. I just want to see my beautiful sister's face and tell her all about how much my new job sucks. Sonya heard a grumble in response, but couldn't decipher it. Alex. With a deep breath, Sonya put on as sincere a smile as she could manage and slowly twisted the doorknob. Okay, I'm coming in. Sonya entered the room and found Alex huddled at her desk in front of her computer, clicking and scrolling through a seemingly never-ending amount of content. Without even glancing up, Alex repeated, What do you want, Sonya? The name added a subtle hiss to the end of her remark. Sonya took a chance to survey the room. With her new work schedule, it had been a while since she had had the opportunity to come in. It was even messier than when she had last seen it. Clothes littered the ground. Empty bottles and plates cluttered the nightstand. A pile of what she assumed was undone schoolwork stacked up next to her desk. Sonya walked over and grabbed a few plates. You know, you've been spending an awful lot of time in here lately. Why don't you come outside, breathe some fresh air? At least have dinner with me in the living room. Alex, still at her computer, responded again without turning around. I'm fine in here. What if I call Katie to come over? She's been calling me nonstop trying to get a hold of you. She really misses you. I'm fine. I just want to be alone right now. Alex. Finally, Alex managed to turn around. Her face was as somber as her tone. Can you just leave me alone, please? Alex, dinner is ready, Sonya yelled from inside the kitchen. Alex was, as usual, in her room with the door firmly shut. Sonya put the plates on the table before walking to the door. Leaning in so that her voice could be clearly heard through the door, she continued, Alex, I've got food ready. Can you come out and eat? From behind the door, Sonya heard the distinct click-click-clicking of a computer mouse, followed shortly by the now infamous grumble. I'll eat later. Please, Alex. Can you please come out and eat with me? I just want to talk. If you don't want to talk, maybe we can just watch a movie? Or do whatever you like. Sonya was answered with yet another grumble. I just want to stay in my room for now. Alex's one-note melancholy had been starting to get on Sonya's nerves. She gripped the doorknob. Listen, Alex, you can't stay holed up in there forever. You've got to come out eventually. I know you're sad, but I'm sad too. So can we please just talk? I miss you. Katie misses you. Everyone misses you. This time, Sonya was only answered with silence. Seconds passed by like hours. Finally, Sonya spoke up again. Alex, I'm coming in. Finally, Alex responded. No, just please leave me alone. Sonya heard the trembling in her voice, the quiet call for help, and it in turn made Sonya also tear up. Sonya attempted to turn the doorknob, only to find it locked. Did you turn off the internet? Sonya looked up from the couch to see Alex standing in her bedroom doorway, still holding the knob. Sonya shifted to better face her sister, pretended to check her phone, and lied. No, I didn't. Looks like it must just be down in the whole house. Alex stared at Sonya for a full minute. Slowly, she narrowed her eyes. You're a bad liar. Sonya perked up from her seated position, accosted by the accusation. I didn't lie. It must just be out. Alex continued to glare. I know you turned it off to try to get me to come out of my room. She spread out her arms in mockery. Well, are you happy? Alex, you're crazy. I wouldn't do something like that. But I am happy to see you. Do you want to come sit on the couch with me? Alex's voice rose. See, I knew you did it. You didn't even attempt to check. At the sound of Alex yelling, Sonya closed her eyes and rubbed her temples. Alex, please. You haven't been out of your room in months. I'm just worried about you. I don't need you to worry about me. I can take care of myself. Alex. Just because mom and dad died doesn't give you the right to baby me. Alex was now yelling at the top of her lungs. Sonya rose to confront Alex. Newsflash, Alex, it does. I'm your guardian now. That means it's my responsibility to make sure that you're okay. Well, you're doing a shit job at it, screamed Alex before slamming her door shut. Friday. The sound of the explosion vibrated Sonya to her core. Heat rapidly radiated off of the police car inferno, and smoke filled the air, choking out what little oxygen was available. Sonya started to frantically look around. Shit, 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 shit. Alex, she screamed at the top of her lungs. Alex! But Sonya heard no response. Frantically, she began pushing through the crowd in front of her, trying to make it to where she had last seen Katie. But the density of the crowd, coupled with the smoke choking out the air, made it almost impossible to tell which was which. Sonya pushed and pushed, trying to get through. Finally, she spotted her. Katie! Sonya rushed to Katie and wrapped her arms around her. Katie crumpled into her arms. Katie! Katie, what happened? Why are you here? Where is Alex? Katie tried to respond, but the words were garbled in between sobs. I'm trying. Alex. Lost her. Please. Sonya put both her arms on Katie's shoulders and tried to put on as soothing a voice as she could manage. Katie, it's going to be okay. I'm here now. Just stay with me. We're going to find Alex, and we're gonna get out of here. Okay? Katie sniffled and gave the slightest of nods. Sonya grabbed her hand. The smoke continued to billow just above them, smearing the sky in dark gray. All right, Katie, I need you to be with me for a minute. Where were you last with Alex? We were together right about here, but then someone bumped. I lost her hand. I tried to look for her. I yelled for her, but she didn't yell back. So I started making my way back. So your original spot was just a bit ahead of where you are now? Towards the front of the crowd? Maybe, sniffled a defeated Katie in response. Okay, Sonya leaned into Katie to be heard clearly over the roaring crowd. Okay, Katie, we're going to get Alex. Whatever you do, do not let go of my hand. Okay? Squeeze tight and don't let go. Katie nodded in assurance. Once again, Sonya began forcing her way through the crowd, dragging Katie behind her. But the smoke and the density of the crowd made it almost impossible to see anything. Shit. It's getting hard to breathe. I need to find Alex and get us the hell out of here. Sonya continued to push and used what little breath she had left to yell, Alex! No response. Pushing forward. Alex! Crowd compacting, smoke choking. Alex! Almost. Please. Alex! With a final push, she made it through another few members of the crowd and finally spotted her. Huddled over, shielding her ears from the noise, was Alex. 3 months before the outage, Sonya sat in Dr. Harper's office, still in her work scrubs. It was the day after Alex's routine therapy appointment, and Dr. Harper had phoned Sonya to come in for a discussion. He began, It has taken some time, but I believe I've finally gotten Alex to open up to me. Yesterday was quite successful. Sonya shifted slightly in her seat. That's great. Dr. Harper stared at Sonya, but it was a gentle stare, a stare of understanding. I know the sudden death of your parents has taken a heavy toll on the both of you, and at such a pivotal stage in Alex's development, he gently brought together his hands. It has caused her to retreat into herself. Yes, Sonya responded. She spends almost all of her time in her room. I can hardly ever get her to come out. At first, I thought it was best to just give her some space. We all grieve in our own ways. But it's been months, and I'm worried about her. She won't talk to me about anything. We used to be so close. Dr. Harper gave a gentle nod and took some time before he next spoke. She is worried about you too. Really? Sonya was genuinely shocked. Yes, Dr. Harper continued. She blames herself for you having to abandon med school to come take care of her. Sonya didn't know what she expected Dr. Harper to say, but it definitely wasn't this. But it's not her fault. And I didn't abandon med school. I just took some time off. It's not that big of a deal. Sonya mumbled the last bit. Yes, but for Alex it has been another major stressor in her life. She blames herself and as a result struggles to be able to come to you for help. But Sonya leaned forward as if to say more, but ultimately lowered her gaze to the floor. I just don't know what to do. Dr. Harper closed his eyes and gave a series of gentle nods. And because Alex cannot find solace in you, she has been looking for it online, spending more and more time online, searching for understanding. Sonya continued to make eye contact with the floor tiles. Yes, she spends a lot of time on her computer. Sonya, Dr. Harper said in a calm but affirming tone, forcing Sonya to meet his gaze. I know you've been trying your best. I know all of this takes as much of a toll on you as it does her. He gently closed and opened his eyes. It will just take some time. When she's ready, she will come to you. Friday. Alex! Sonya rushed up to Alex, tugging Katie along with her. Alex was huddled over, hands over both ears, repeatedly muttering something inaudible under her breath. Around her, the crowd had turned into pure chaos. People were now shoving in the opposite direction, trying to escape the fire. Sonya momentarily let go of Katie's hand and placed both her hands on Alex's shoulders. Alex! Alex! It's me! It's Sonya! Alex, still cupping both her ears, turned up at Sonya. Her eyes looked as if she was in a trance. Sonya fully wrapped her arms around her. Alex, it's going to be okay. I'm here. I've got you. I've always got you. I'm never going away. Alex looked up at her, finally realizing who it was. Sonya, she cried, latching onto her sister and sobbing into her arms. I've got you, Alex. Sonya squeezed her tight, tighter than she had ever before. After a moment, Alex came up for air and began frantically looking left and right. Katie! Sonya released Alex from her embrace, but kept her arms in her. Alex! Katie is right here with me. She's right here. Alex shifted her attention to Katie, and more tears welled up in both of their eyes. Katie ran over to embrace Alex. Alex! I'm all right. We found you. We're not going anywhere. Sonya watched the embrace unfold before gently placing her hands on both of their shoulders and leaning in for a huddle. The smoke stung all of their eyes. All right, we need to get out of here now. Alex, I want you to hold my hand and hold Katie's hand. We're going to form a line and get out of here. Do you understand? Don't let go. The miners both nodded their heads in agreement. The three linked up and began making their way towards the rear of the crowd. Thankfully, due to the fire, the rest of the crowd was starting to flee that direction as well, aiding in their escape. With one arm acting as a shield and the other firmly holding onto Alex behind her, who was in turn firmly holding onto Katie behind her, the three trudged through the crowd. As she was pushing, Sonya started to aggressively cough. Shit, there's too much smoke. It's getting hard to breathe here. She looked back at the two girls momentarily. I need to get us out of here now. The three continued in line, going as fast as they could, parting the crowd around them. Just a little more. We've got... Just a little more. Finally, Sonya saw a break in the crowd. Summoning all the energy she had left, she gave one final push and brought all three of them out of the crowd. A new day. Alex lay in bed, rereading the message on her phone for the third time. It was Saturday morning, the day after the protest. Sometime in the late hours of the night, the internet had come back on. Alex's lungs still hurt, and her clothes discarded on the floor still reeked of smoke. Outside the door, Alex heard Sonya, who in typical Sonya fashion, hadn't even made it to her bed and was instead sprawled out on the couch, trying to soak up as much sleep as she could manage. The night before they had finally talked, their first real talk in ages. Alex returned her attention to her phone to reread the message for the fourth time. Dear Alex, your bestest friend in the whole world wanted to wish you the happiest birthday ever. I know things have been really tough for you lately, but I just wanted to let you know that you are loved so, so much. I love you. Your sister loves you. Everyone loves you. You're impossible not to love. So never, ever forget that there's always people there for you, no matter what happens. Don't forget. Anyways, there better be cake tonight because we're celebrating in style. Crap, I think Miss Sanderson sees me typing this. See you soon. Love you. Love you too, Alex said with a smile. Thank you for listening to Stories. This story was written and narrated by me, Connor Aidan. To read rough drafts before they're posted and actually influence how the story turns out, head to patreon.com/Connor Aidan. I'm Connor Aidan, and this is Stories.